Hi guys, here's another video. So as you can tell in the title, this one is about self-harm and why people self-harm. What is classed as self-harm and stuff like that. So what is self-harm? And at first, I want to say this: self-harm is not attention seeking. It's fucking not. It's a very real and serious addiction. That's what it is, really. It's an addiction. In this video, I'd like to talk about physical self-harm. So what causes physical like damage to your body, so your skin and stuff. I'm not in this video. I'm not talking about sort of suicide attempts, which is where it is self-harm, but it's not what everybody thinks about when you see a self-harm. It's more serious. So the different types of self-harm. So there's lots of different types of self-harm. The main ones what I'm going to be on about in this video are sort of cutting, burning, scratching, pulling your hair, head banging, in certain objects. So I've seen a few people that have existing wounds and they have them for years, and they never let them heal because they just stick stuff in the wounds, and punching things, fucking launching yourself against a wall or something like that. You know what I mean? And reopening wounds. So you have a cut on your arm and you just reopen it, and you know what I mean. There are types of self-harm that can look like a suicide attempt, but people only do it sometimes because it's either a cry for help, or it's all looking, it's all the, how can I put this? It's all that they think they can do at the time. They don't want to die, but that's the only way they know to get help. So things like ligatures, stuff like that. So why do I self-harm? So for me, it's a release. So it doesn't hurt for me whenever I self-harm. I don't feel any pain. Well, that's a lie, actually. I feel it for about 2 seconds. I feel pain for about 2 seconds, and then I feel just calm and settled, and it's just a release. There are some reasons I've heard other people say why they self-harm. Some people do it for the pain, so they want to feel something. You know what I mean? People, it's a cry for help. So it's not attention seeking. It's the only way they know, or the only way they think they can get help. They do it to punish themselves. So they just feel like they want to. So say they've had an argument or something like that. They want to punish themselves for what they've done wrong. Some people think they deserve it, so they just think this is what I deserve. You know what I mean? And actually, another reason is because they're doing something to hurt themselves, but they don't want to kill themselves. If that makes sense. So I've heard people say that when they self-harm, it's not about dying. It's more about being able to live in that pain that they're in. And people that self-harm are in excruciating mental pain. And it's not like physical pain. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't describe the pain. And nobody that's not in that pain can describe how it feels or know how it feels. It's this constant, it hurts in your head, it hurts. So one thing you shouldn't say to a self-harmer is so if you knock them or punch them or whatever, you see, well, you like the pain, and it's you don't see that someone that's self-harm, because it's different when you do it to yourself when somebody else does it to you. It's completely different. It's not the same feeling, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel the same as when you do it to yourself. So what should you do if you find someone that's self-harming, or you're witnessing self-harm? So obviously, if it's absolutely life-threatening, you stop them no matter what. You know what I mean? That's quite obvious. If it's not absolutely life-threatening, don't stop them. If it's not life-threatening, don't stop them, because it will just escalate the situation, especially in hospital. Especially in hospital, if you find someone that's self-harming and it's not life-threatening, and you pull that alarm, and all the response team come rushing, you're just making that situation worse. You're basically putting them in fight or flight mode, and a lot of the time it makes the self-harm worse, because they think, well, they know what the alarm means. You know what I mean? They can tell when someone's pulled their alarm, and they think, well, I'm going to be stopped now, so I'll do it worse before I'm stopped. So if it's not absolutely life-threatening, just talk to them. You know what I mean? Say things like, you know, don't ask them if they're okay, because they're clearly not. You know what I mean? It's just a stupid question to say to someone, are you okay? You know what I mean? Just say to them, I know you're not okay, but I'm here for you. You know what I mean? And say stuff like, I know you're not ready to talk right now, but when you are, obviously I'm here to listen. I will sit with you for however long it takes, and I will listen to whatever you want to say. Another good thing I've found that people say is, you know, saying this feeling won't last forever, because it doesn't. Just say it, you know, you've got to ride the wave. Just say it like, you've just got to ride it out, and you know, it won't last forever. And then the last thing is, a lot of self-harmers have a history of trauma. So a lot of them have PTSD. So a good thing to say to them when they're self-harming is, because a lot of it is the fact that they're having flashbacks, and the you know what I mean, that they have to have a release to get over that overwhelming feeling that they're having. And one really helpful thing to say is that you see it, they're safe right now. They're in the here and now. They're safe, and nothing's going to hurt them. You know what I mean? Now, not all these things work for everybody. Different things work for different people. But there's just an overview of self-harm in general. Make sure you comment different videos that you want us to talk about, because nothing's off limits. I will talk about anything, and I'm here to explain my story. You know what I mean, and explain different things I've experienced and that. So just let us know. Right, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.